There is nothing more unsettling than pure evil on an innocent face. Today, you will meet the most perverse, cruel, and ruthless children in cinema. From the most atrocious child psychopath of all time to a generation destined to become Nazis. Being so inhuman, they overshadow 99% of all villains, murderers, sadists, future participants in a genocide, and even the Antichrist himself. Today, on Cine Prime. In The Innocents, evil hides behind the innocence of two siblings, Miles and Flora. At first glance, they seem angelic, but just watch them closely, and you'll feel something disturbing, almost unnatural. Miles, only 10 years old, talks and behaves like an adult, making inappropriate insinuations toward his governess, with glances far too intense for a child. Flora, on the other hand, is quieter, but every word she speaks feels calculated, as if she's always 3 steps ahead, pulling strings from the shadows. Both display a psychological control over the adults around them, always balancing on that impossible line between sweetness and menace. There are moments when they seem possessed, and others when their coldness feels too real to blame on a ghost. Manipulation, insinuations, secrets, and a strange bond that ties them together in something much darker than blood. And when the ending arrives, the ambiguity becomes unbearable. Is it an accident? Or did one of them commit murder? Miles and Flora are proof that the worst kind of childhood evil isn't always loud. It can be quiet, gray, and stare straight into your eyes. In the other, innocence is nothing but a cover. Niles and his twin brother Holland seem like any other siblings. But wherever they go, death is not far behind. A neighbor falls from a great height. A tool pierces something it shouldn't. A small body hidden away like a shameful secret. It all appears to be accidents. Until you see Holland smile. Cold, confident, as if he's testing just how far he can go. Niles follows him in everything, as if hypnotized, connected in a way no adult understands. They don't speak about what they do. They don't need to plan it. They think it. And it happens. And while the adults search for explanations, the two keep playing as if tragedy were just part of the fun. But slowly, something starts to break. Niles talks about Holland as if he's absent, and each word casts a darker shadow. When the truth comes out, everything you've seen twists in your mind. And you realize that evil doesn't always split in two. Sometimes, it all lives inside one. In the other, the most innocent game can end with a funeral. And the killer might still be smiling, waiting for someone else to play. In The White Ribbon, evil doesn't begin in war. It begins in childhood. In Germany, a few years before World War I, a small village lives under the tyranny of the church and punishment. Children learn that obedience is enforced through pain, and soon they begin to return it. Angelic faces conceal cold, calculated acts so subtle that adults barely dare to suspect them. At first, it's so-called accidents. A doctor nearly killed after falling from his horse because of an invisible wire, a disabled boy beaten until he's blind, a barn reduced to ashes. Then, the evil becomes more direct, pushing a classmate into the river and watching him sink, humiliating the weak, killing animals. No one speaks, no one accuses, because to acknowledge it would be to accept that the monsters sleep under their own roofs. The white ribbon, supposedly a symbol of purity, becomes an ironic badge, a uniform for little executioners. They don't scream, they don't lose control. They watch, they learn, they perfect their cruelty in silence. These children will grow up to march in perfect formation beneath the swastika and follow orders that will kill millions. The white ribbon is an X-ray of the origin of Nazism, not as a sudden ideology, but as the result of years of repression, violence, and education in hatred. Here, the terror lies in what is left unsaid, and in what you see in a child's eyes as their victim drowns. There's something deeply disturbing in Village of the Damned. Here, the danger doesn't come from a hidden killer, but from a group of children who seem perfect. It all starts with an inexplicable blackout. The entire village falls unconscious. When they wake, the women discover they're pregnant. And 9 months later, they give birth to them. Identical children with the same blonde hair, the same pale skin, and eyes that never blink. They don't laugh, they don't cry, they don't seek affection. They walk in perfect formation, like small soldiers trained before birth. They communicate without speaking, stop in unison, and observe the world as if they already own it. At first, they're obedient, until someone tells them no. Then, their gaze pierces like an invisible knife, and the adult obeys, jumping to their death, crashing into a wall, setting themselves on fire. The most unsettling part is that they still look like children. Small hands, clean faces, calm steps, while they decide who lives and who dies. They're not a group, but a single mind, a hive of pure coldness. In Village of the Damned, the enemy doesn't hide in the dark. It plays in the street, walks beside you, and kills you without touching you. Rhoda Penmark is the perfect little girl, or so everyone believes. Big eyes, sweet smile, flawless manners. She knows exactly what to say and when to smile. But beneath that neatly pressed dress lives a calculating psychopath. When a classmate wins a medal Rhoda believes she deserves, she doesn't cry or throw a tantrum. She follows him to the dock, waits for the perfect moment, and drowns him. Then she smiles and goes home as if nothing happened. It's no outburst. Rhoda kills with the calm of someone swapping out a broken doll. Soon after, a neighbor starts to suspect and, accidentally, falls down the stairs. Anyone who gets in her way disappears, always without evidence, always with the perfect alibi. The most disturbing thing is her ability to act innocent mere seconds after a crime. Her voice remains soft, her gestures measured. She never loses control. Rhoda is a nightmare disguised as an angel, proof that a killer doesn't need physical strength or a weapon to be lethal. Only intelligence, patience, and the complete absence of empathy. The Bad Seed was one of the first works to portray a psychopathic child, and it changed cinema forever. In Who Can Kill a Child, the question isn't rhetorical, it's a warning. A couple arrives on a Spanish island seeking peace. No cars, no noise, and, at first, no adults. Only children, watching in silence. Their smiles seem innocent, but in their hands are stones, sticks, knives. And soon, the truth emerges. Every adult on the island has been murdered by them. This isn't a fit of rage or a moment of hysteria. The children hunt in groups with the precision of predators. They lure victims into alleys, corner them, and beat them to death. They show no mercy, no remorse. They laugh, play, congratulate each other as if it were a contest. The most unsettling part is the normality of it all. A boy slingshots a man in the head, then immediately bends down to tie his shoe. A girl caresses a dying victim as if playing doctor. There's no fear on their faces, only the certainty that they control the island. In Who Can Kill a Child, the violence doesn't come from a supernatural monster, but from the same innocence we are meant to protect. And the final question becomes a sentence: to survive, you must kill a child. Damien Thorne isn't just a bad child. He's the Antichrist. Adopted by a diplomat who has no idea of his true nature, he grows up surrounded by luxury, perfect education, and a prophecy marking him as the one who will destroy humanity. Damien never wields a weapon, never dirties his hands. He doesn't need to. His very presence causes deaths as brutal as they are inexplicable. A nanny jumps from a great height, screaming she's doing it for him. A priest is impaled by a metal rod in the middle of a storm. A journalist is decapitated by a falling sheet of glass with impossible precision. It all seems like accidents, but Damien is always nearby, watching with those cold eyes, as if he knows exactly what's about to happen. His power is invisible but absolute. He doesn't yell, he doesn't threaten, he smiles, pets a dog, hugs his mother. And a minute later, someone dies in a horrific way. There's no compassion, no remorse, because Damien isn't a bad child. He is pure evil. In The Omen, every step he takes is a countdown, and every glance, a sentence. And the most disturbing thing is that until the very end, he still looks like just a boy. In Eden Lake, evil doesn't come from demons or prophecies, but from a group of teenagers with too much power and zero limits. Steve and Jenny go for a weekend by the lake, but there they cross paths with Brett and his gang, kids between 12 and 15, who smoke, drink, and don't know the meaning of the word mercy. It starts with insults and threats, but soon the harassment turns into torture. They steal their belongings, chase them through the forest, beat them with a violence that feels rehearsed. There's no fear in their faces, only fun. They film it all on their phones like trophies. Every time Steve and Jenny try to escape, they hunt them down again. And raise the stakes. They break bones, burn skin, stab with knives. Brett gives the orders and the others obey without question. The leader doesn't kill out of necessity, but out of pride, needing to prove he can break anyone. And most disturbing of all, the younger kids in the group copy every move, learning that cruelty is power. In their eyes, there's no trace of remorse, only the thrill of the hunt. There's no justice, no redemption, no happy ending. In Eden Lake, childhood isn't a synonym for innocence. It's the perfect disguise for a psychopath no one suspects until it's far too late. Henry Evans is proof that a boy of barely 12 can destroy everything around him without raising suspicion. With his parents, he's polite, clever, charming. With his cousin Mark, he shows his true face. He feels no empathy, recognizes no limits, fears no consequences. He kills a dog with a crossbow for fun. He causes car accidents by throwing dummies into the road just to watch the chaos and hear the screech of brakes. And when he succeeds, he smiles as if he's won a game. But his most dangerous weapon isn't violence, it's manipulation. Henry knows exactly when to fake tenderness, when to cry, when to blame others to play the victim. He fools his parents easily, isolates Mark from any help, and turns every conversation into a psychological trap. He even plans to kill his own little sister, without remorse, just to see what would happen. The most disturbing thing is his absolute control. He never acts on impulse. Every step is calculated, every move designed to leave no trace. He's not a supernatural monster or part of a dangerous gang. He's a normal boy in the eyes of the world, but inside he's pure ice. In The Good Son, the threat doesn't shout or chase. It sits across from you, wears clean clothes, says thank you, and while doing so, is imagining the most efficient way to end you. Kevin Kachadurian is psychopathy in its purest form. From birth, something about him was different. He didn't cry like other babies, didn't seek comfort. He looked at his mother with cold eyes, as if he already hated her. Every gesture seemed like a challenge, a way of reminding her she couldn't control him. He grows up destroying everything she loves, her belongings, her peace, her life. As a child, he's cruel with a chilling calm. He fakes tenderness when it suits him, but as soon as he feels safe, he humiliates, manipulates, and attacks. He ruins friendships, lies effortlessly, and turns daily life into a psychological game only he can win. He kills his sister's pet, shatters her trust, and enjoys watching his mother start to crumble. But Kevin doesn't just want to hurt. He wants to leave a scar that will never fade. And he does. He locks the doors of his school, blocks the exits, and with a bow and arrows, turns an ordinary day into a massacre. He doesn't run, doesn't tremble, doesn't scream. He shoots with the same calm he once used to throw darts at his sister. When he's arrested, he doesn't apologize. He looks at his mother and smiles, because he knows it wasn't just about killing. It was about destroying her, ensuring that every night when she closes her eyes, she sees that moment again. In We Need to Talk About Kevin, evil doesn't hide in a monster or a stranger. It lives in a child who grows up in your home, learns your weaknesses, and waits for the perfect moment to use them against you. Kevin is the perfect example of pure evil, of child psychopathy. These were the cruelest and most disturbing children cinema has ever given us. But tell me, which one did you find the worst? Kevin, with his absolute coldness, the children from the White Ribbon, with their predisposition toward Nazism, or the kids from Eden Lake, with their realistic violence? Let me know in the comments, leave a like, and subscribe for more dark lists like this. See you in the next video.